is Stephen Rafferty, and you're watching These Are Questions. This is the internet show where I ask people questions about things, life, and such not. Today's guest is a talented editor, post-production coordinator, location scout, and honestly, she's just a Jill of all trades as she works behind the scenes within the entertainment and television industries. Please welcome Elizabeth, or I like to call her Liz Burbano.
Hi, it's very nice to meet all of you. I go by Elizabeth or Liz. My friends call me Liz. My mom and sister call me Elizabeth. So, or like in professional settings. But most of my friends just call me Liz. Thank you for the lovely intro. Like Stephen said, I am kind of a Jill of all trades. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like 1,000 moments of like the only position I don't really like is actually cinematography or lighting, ironically enough.
Before we get into the show, Liz, I need to explain the rules of These Are Questions. Liz, I'm going to ask you a series of questions going to be based around your career and aspirations, along with a mixture of questions that are borderline idiotic and randomly stupid. Do you accept those terms?
I accept the terms gladly.
Liz, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Awesome. Internet/editors that are going to be editing this episode, are you ready? I see someone in a dark corner that's doing 6 hours of edits right now, and I see a thumbs up in the corner, so I'm going to take that as a yes. With that, let's begin. So Liz, we've known each other for years and worked on throughout various productions, but for those new, can you explain to me what your role is behind the scenes on those productions?
Okay, so majority of my productions, I either go on the pre-production side, so I'm a location scout, I'm a producer, I'm connecting everybody together. I've been an casting coordinator of all types, and then on the post-production side, I am a post-production coordinator, as Stephen has said. I also edit and I color. I do a little bit of mixing, and my happy place is, weirdly enough, in an office, either editing or figuring out the schedules for things, and then I just let everyone else do the filming. And then I deal with either the before or the after. I like to just be very far behind in the camera. So like those people that are like, who are the ones that do all this? And it's like, hello, it's I. I also used to get teased by one of my classmates because I would actually enjoy making budgets and schedules so much that I would help other students that my teachers would know if I was the one that worked on it, because I had a particular way I did things, and then they would even know if like I looked at it or I helped them. So it was pretty cool.
Can you describe the editing process to me, to the viewers watching, in one word?
So actually this question stumped me, and I'm thinking about it, and it still stumps me a bit. But the best word I can think of is creation. So as an editor, you create the final piece that someone sees alongside the director, obviously, but you also create the emotional beats, and you're the one that guides them through the happiness, through the sadness, through all of it. So I would have to go with creation is the best word. I don't know if you actually know this, Stephen, but I self-taught how to edit.
Oh, wow.
And it was really funny because I was actually looking for a different program, and I stumbled upon, I think it was like the original iMovie. So I'm gonna age myself. Like it was the original, like super, like dinky iMovie, and I learned lyrically. And if any viewers want to really dig and find my old YouTube channel, which no one will guess the name, but you will see all of my original edits, and you'll see like all of how I learned as an editor. So that's kind of fun. I always kind of look at it because I'm like, wow, look at how much I grew.
Of course.
I'm like, oh God, I hope no one ever sees these. But it's kind of one of those.
I can relate with that too because I self-taught in editing and video production. I knew nothing about cameras or how to shoot or how to film or how to edit. I thought editing was just boom, boom, boom.
I think that actually shifts a lot of us as filmmakers if we're because I've talked to people who are just like, oh, I learned in school, and I was like, oh, I remember the first editing class, like my real first editing class. I was really confused. They were using all these terms that I didn't know what they meant. Like I was just like, I instinctively just knew you cut here and you cut there and call it a day. But so that was interesting. And then if I talk to like school taught editors, they're like, oh yeah, I know all of these terms. And it's like, oh, still to this day, I know the terms, but also be like, that moment where it goes, and somebody will get it when they're self-taught because they understand they don't understand like the word for it. Yeah. I just always think that's a little bit fun. It's a little bit like a quirky thing of like you self-teach that also means like you have discipline because you want it more.
Liz, are you a Legend of Zelda or Banjo-Kazooie fan?
Legend of Zelda.
Okay, Legend of Zelda, so Triforce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the game. I'm like blanking on the name, but I like the game that nobody else likes. The one that like nothing happens and you just literally walk around and like nothing happens. And I had it on the Wii and like you can ride a horse and like shoot arrows.
Oh, Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess, that's the one that's on the Wii.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. And I don't even think I like finished the game. I think I just had so much fun like riding the horse and just being like, woo! And my friend would be like, are you still riding the horse? And I'm like, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I don't know why. So
Liz, if you had the option to give yourself and everyone a permanent day off, which date out of the year would you pick and why?
oh, that's a good question. I gotta think. Honestly, I would give everybody the day after Halloween. And the reason why I say that is because the majority of people either get chocolate wasted or other wasted, and they just kind of need a day off to just chillax. And like trick-or-treating is a lot of energy on the kids, on the parents. So yeah, the day after Halloween.
Next question is, who would you challenge to a game of Words with Friends? You can't pick me though.
So I despise that game, but I would still play, but I gotta think of like a person I would play. Because I have like two options.
That's fine.
Dead, if they like taught her how to play, I would want to play with Jane Austen because she's one of my favorite like authors. And then alive, I actually think I would want to play with Nunez, our like mutual friend.
Oh.
I just think he would be a lot of fun to play with on that. He would totally win because like words are not my thing when it comes to like quick spelling like that. I think that's only partially just because I miss him lots. But yeah, so that's my answer.
So Liz, out of all your productions you have been a part with, what are some of your favorite ones to work? And is there any specific moments you would like to share from those productions?
Well, as slightly cheesy as this is going to sound, every production has always given me a new learning lesson. Sometimes it was I need better planning. Sometimes it was I needed to be a little more goofy with my set. I tend to sometimes be a little like, how do I word this? Like goal focused, that sometimes I forget like, oh, we're all human. We need to like be human. Favorite productions. Well, obviously, the productions I've always done with you, I really like a lot. The one of the productions I can think of, like a funny-ish story, was I was in my master's. I wasn't um like I didn't have like a producing role. My job was on that set pretty much was to order the pizza and make sure the actresses or actor's girlfriend didn't get too like riled up. Um because I was a girl and she's a girl and we could connect. But one of the producers forgot to there are some places, I'm going to give a little like background story. So there's some places that you need, if you're going to be doing some filming, that you need to let like the neighbors know that you're doing the filming so they don't like freak out or call the cops. um I'm going to set the scene. So we were in Miami Beach and we were in like a nice-ish area, and my friend had this idea of doing a fight scene. So that was our project we were doing, and we were learning about like how to cut, intercut, and like how to like film a fight scene. And long story short, the producer forgot to let the neighbors know, because like we were in our first year and it was an oopsie, and 7 SWAT cars came. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 7 SWAT cars with like the dogs too, like the really scary dogs.
Yeah, the canine unit.
Yeah, so and they thought it was like a gang related fight, but it was literally just a normal like fight. And then they were all kind of, for lack of a better way to say this, terrified to go. And I knew we were fine because we had the paperwork that proves like, hey, we're students. We stayed to the amount of people that were supposed to be on the set within the documents, because me being me, even though I wasn't a huge part on that set, I still made sure that we did not leave that school without every piece of document. Um, and all the guys were like, and then we were like running to the teacher, and like our teacher was like, no, you guys go figure it out. And while they were talking to the teacher, I already grabbed the paperwork and I walked up to, all the cars and the cops and all that. And I was like, hi, my name is Liz. We're students. Here's our paperwork. Everything is in order and everything's accordance to the laws. And the guy was like, wait, you're a student? I was like, yeah, this is not an actual fight. Like, my actors are really good, but this is not a real fight. Like, I didn't want to alarm anyone. I do apologize. So I handled the situation, and I always mention that story because everyone's like, oh, you're so like brave. And it's like, no, it's just sometimes you gotta know, like, if other people don't know what to do and you kind of have an idea, you just gotta go with it sometimes. Um, it was pretty interesting, though, because for those who don't know me, I'm very small. I am literally 4'11", and these men were, big, 6 something cops. And I was like, hi. And besides the fact that they thought I was adorable, they were like, oh, wow, you have all the paperwork ready. And I was like, yeah. So that was, I guess, one of my biggest learning lessons, is always have the paperwork no matter what situation, even if it's something as simple as stealing a shot at the beach. Just have a form of like, hi, we can be here, I swear. So yeah, I guess that was my biggest learning lesson. And I actually did get to pet the dogs. They were super cute.
Oh, really? They let you pet the canine?
Yeah, they did. Because they were like, oh, you're so cute. I was like, oh my God, I love your dogs. Yeah, so that's me. But no, I made friends with the dog that day. And then I like walked, and then like by time the director realized that like I handled the situation, they were all leaving. And my teacher pulled me aside. It was like, that wasn't your position. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry, but I knew we were fine. And he was like, no, you had good instincts. Stick to those. I was like, okay. So I kind of always just kind of kept that in the back of my head of trust your own instincts and always have paperwork. Paperwork is your friend. I know creatives hate paperwork, but paperwork is your friend.
So you've been a part of various medias. Um, is there a new media you want to be a part of in the future?
Yeah, so it's really funny you mentioned that. I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm actually writing a webcomic.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, so originally I had the idea for it to be an animated series.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what? No. I love comics, so why don't I take this into a comic? Um, Not to give everything away, but I love playing with twists. So the character you would assume that would be bad, like because of like the family lineage is not, and the character who you assume is good is not good.
Okay.
So based on family lineage and things like that, and it
Interesting.
allows me to be like super nerdy and play around with one of the historical themes or myths that I love the most. So yeah, it was a really interesting question, but it's a good segue for I'm learning that.
Can a McDonald's Big Mac be used as a flotation device?
Um, if you have a bunch of them, or if you have like one of those like SpongeBob Krabby Patties that look like a Big Mac, like floaty, you could use that. But it would be kind of weird to just have a Big Mac without the fries. So that's also a thought process too. It would be kind of weird with no fries. But yeah, I guess it could work.
Do you have a good piece of advice for an aspiring creator?
Um, it took me a second because that question for me is always a thought process that I have to have slightly daily with myself. Is do I love what I do? Meaning like the creative, and I say yes, I do. And then I think the most important thing for a creative to really understand is there's gonna be some days that it's really hard, and not to be doom like gloom and like, but like it is gonna be really hard. So you have to know deep down like this is what you want to do, and if you have like a shred of like, oh, I don't know if I like can do this, that's really just your excitement and that's really just your nerves. So if you channel that, you could like make it into something. But I don't have like an exact like phrase or anything, but I guess the most important thing I would want them to know is love what you do. Remember that you can love it, but also remember that you need to balance your creative with like actually going outside and being with people and like connecting, because like the way you connect with the world is how you know will always influence your art. So I guess that's the most important thing is like know that you love it and know that we're all a little crazy, and then also remember that connectivity helps your art. It doesn't take away from it. That's one lesson I had to learn. So
Liz, I have one more question to ask you for our These Are Questions interview. And this is a question that I'm asking every single guest this season. The question is that I am making a music playlist this season. And I'm asking each guest to tell me, and you can give me up to 5. Can you tell me some of your favorite songs that define your personality?
oh god. Oh, uh I'm like blanking on the name, but it's like it's a song that's like I'm born in the 90s. I'm a 90s person. I'm not gonna say the word. And that is a lot of my energy. Ironically, a lot of people don't know this, but Linkin Park is one of my favorite bands. Um,
Great band.
and when I'm trying to get into the mode for a couple of my characters, what I do with music is I have like certain playlists that like I use to get into those modes. But my favorite song by them is Numb. And then, so that's always kind of one for me. Oh, I gotta think. Give me a sec. I also love. I don't know if you'll know him, but NF.
Okay.
He's really good if you haven't heard him. But my favorite song by him that I listen to like literally almost every day is oh my god, of course I'm blanking on the name, but it's I believe it's Success or Y. It's NF and it's Y.
Y, okay.
Yeah, it's so good. Another song that kind of like I listen to every day is this is a slightly funny one, but it's 9 to 5 from Dolly Parton. And I always listen to that song to remind myself, like, yes, we may work 9 to 5s, but like we can still be crazy and have a good time and like be funny and like kind of have good energy. So that's 3. I owe you 2 more, right? I listen to Daughtry, Drown in You, partially for a script, but like I also really love the song. It kind of annoyed me how they never had it in the game. Like, he actually wrote it for Batman because he's a huge Batman fan. Sorry, I'm about to go on a rant. But they didn't even put it in the game, and I was like, why? So it was really good. That one, and then let me just grab you one more. I'm gonna butcher her name.
Okay.
But it's like Raul. It's like some. Okay, I'm just gonna spell it for you because she's really good. Okay. It's Ruelle, and my favorite song from her. Let me go into her. I'll start playing. Let me go into her videos, and I think my favorite one is slightly cheesy. But I've been trying to write a romance novel or romance script, so I think that's why my brain does it. Let me just grab it. She has way too many awesome videos because I can't find the one I'm trying to find. War of Hearts. For those who watched Shadowhunters, for those who did, oh my God, Malik is life. But yeah, so that is one of my favorite ones from her. And then like a lot of her stuff is really good. So check her out, and also NF. But yeah, so that's the 5.
Liz, we are at the end of our These Are Questions Season 3 episode. Appreciate you being on here. But now, the internet is yours. Anything you want to promote, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to say before we end off this interview, the internet, as I said before, is yours.
All right, so I want to thank you, one, for allowing me to be on this. It's an honor. And then promoting wise, I don't have anything super big right now. I do want to say that I have a goal, and I've almost reached that goal soon. So hopefully I'll be able to like post about it. And then I guess last but not least, like of the advice, because I am the mom friend of the group, my last thing has to be advice, but I just want to let all the creatives out there know, like, find your people that you make things with. And it doesn't have to be every single project you work on them with. Find the people who are your beta readers, find the people who you're on set with, and it doesn't feel like a job. Because if we're lucky enough to do this like 9 to 5, or well, technically outfit hours are weird, but like if we're lucky to do this every day of our lives, we want to do it with people that we love and that we know, and they become family. I think that's the important part, is make sure you find those people. And I can't wait to see what everyone creates. So
for those who are watching and listening, you have been watching / listening / watching again to These Are Questions. Good night, everyone.